Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parents. In today's episode, breastfeeding isn't allowed if you're a teen mom. My entitled aunt is mad at me for not taking my entitled cousin's dog out for a walk. My dad tries to excuse not paying for a movie ticket. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Breastfeeding isn't allowed if you're a teen mom. So back in high school, one of my closest friends got pregnant and gave birth to the sweetest baby boy. She stopped going to school for a while to take care of her kid, but still did online school so she could graduate with her class. One thing we would do is go to one of the local food places near the high school on Fridays, and today we decided to go to this nice Chinese place that I frequent regularly, and the little old Asian lady knows me by name. This Chinese place has a sticker on the front door that says something like breastfeeding will always be allowed, which is great since that's what my friend is more comfortable doing for her baby. After we ordered our food and hung out in this little waiting area, when the baby gets all fussy, she takes out the little cover and covers her baby and her chest as she starts to feed him. We keep talking until this woman and her son, who had to be around 10, comes in. I recognize the kid as one of the kids I looked after when I used to volunteer at a youth center. He comes up to me and starts talking to me, and then asks my friend what she's doing with the baby. Before my friend could answer, the boy's mother cuts in. "A disgusting thing is what she's doing. Don't you know better than to do that in public? And why are you even doing that if you're only a kid?" My friend has an attitude sometimes, so I try to jump in before she would start to throw things. It's not illegal. And Mrs. L is fine with it. She has a sticker on the door. Mrs. L being the little old Asian lady by the counter who was just doodling the baby a second ago. She smiles at us and continues to write some stuff down. The mother wasn't happy about this and continues with her BS. "I'm sorry, but I'm just not okay with a baby breastfeeding another baby. Can you please just stop?" she says in frustration. Mrs. L finally cuts in, and in her broken English she says nursing baby is a beautiful thing. You have problem, you leave. She then taps the order on the window that leads to the kitchen and apologizes to my friend for the woman's nasty behavior. She then looks at the boy who is still next to me and says jokingly, "Your mother, she dummy, right?" This makes the boy laugh and the mother just grumble in her seat, trying to stay as far from us as she could. When my friend finished and we grabbed our food, Mrs. L threw in an extra order of eggs rolled since they were my friend's favorite. Everything was fine until Monday came and I saw the boy again. He pulls me off to the side and tells me that his mom said she doesn't like me or my friend. I just ask him if he still likes me and he says yes. Yay. Loltat Chinese owner Mrs. L is funny towards the end. Your mother, she dummy, right? She's one of those little old Asian laddies who will say whatever they want, lol. Halfway through the post I was worried the Chinese woman was going to be the asshole of the story and was worried it was going to be another case of one bad apple giving Asian people a bad reputation. But luckily it was the complete opposite. You keep on taking no shit, Chinese restaurant woman. Why are you doing that if you are a kid? Because children with teenage parents still experience hunger, you jagweed. And minors can still be arrested for not feeding their kid. She even covered it up so it's not like she had her breasts hanging out, lol, and every mother, including animals, breastfeed. People need to mind their own business. Air baby was hungry so she fed it. I'm just not okay with you feeding your hungry baby. This has exactly zero bearing on anything at all, madam. Suck an egg roll. If a person is old enough to get pregnant, give birth and produce milk, then you're old enough to breastfeed. It's not hard to understand. She even covered up. She wanted to shame her for being a teen mom more than the breastfeeding. My entitled aunt is mad at me for not taking my entitled cousin's dog out for a walk. Let's start from there. There are 4 living in the family: my aunt, my grandmother, and my 2 cousins, EC, 14, and GC, 11. I am a 16-year-old boy. They live 15 minutes away from my house. Well, I had just woken up and I was lying on the bed and scrolling TikTok when I got a call from my aunt. I answered, and he told me that Luke was not at home, neither was she, and Nika had broken his right hand and was afraid of falling or something. It is quite a big dog and it could easily have happened. Without even thinking, I told her that I would walk the dog because I have walked their dog many times because I respect my grandmother and I know it would be inappropriate for me to refuse. Too many times I didn't walk my own dog and gone down to their house, whether it's been raining, heat waves, stormy, or just I was feeling plain lazy, and yet I've never refused. I got up, got ready, and my mother was making a new dish and I was hungry. I sat down to eat and went to their place. My dad asked me to buy our dog food, so I also did that. All this took exactly 30 to 40 minutes and I went down to their place with quick steps. I got there and oh my goodness, Luca with only his underwear is lying in front of the TV and watching. My grandmother is fussing in the kitchen and Nika is in his room. Luke rudely told me that the dog had already been taken out, so I was surprised because Luke wasn't dressed and my grandmother is too old to take him out. I got up and went into Nika's room and asked who took the dog out. I was told by an 11-year-old crippled child who was barely a kilo of a dog that he took the dog for a walk. It got on my nerves because Luke was at home. My aunt lied to me and Luke scored with his laziness. He has done this many times, complained to his mother about taking the dog out, and in the end, they washed their hands on me. 2 days passed and I was with my grandmother. My aunt met me on the way out. I was with my friends and my girlfriend, and she said the following thing to me: "Couldn't you have come a little earlier?" What a behavior! It's like it's my fault that his son was sitting on his ass and I was obliged to take him for a walk. When I repeat, Luke was at home, doing nothing, and he just got lazy, and I, who live 15 minutes away, had to go out on my own errands and still got up and went down. I would have understood if I tossed them away. I have never asked anyone to walk my dog from that family, and even if I asked, no one would ever agree. However, I don't understand why they ask me to walk the dog, why they insult me, and why they have complaints. I didn't ask for that dog, and whoever did should take a responsibility. I just had enough respect to not reject them and actually wanted to help out, and they don't even respect me for that. I do not know what to do. She totally embarrassed me and I feel really mad at Luke for pulling this act. No more doing anything for them without getting paid in advance. Weird. You ask for a favor and ask demands. Maybe your son, the one you said wasn't there, could have done it. Which he did. I was trying to do you a favor. Appreciate that I even showed up. I'm so glad no one asked me for anything, and if they does have to be on WhatsApp because I'm not answering any phone calls. Wanted me to see or help you? Send me a message so I can choose if I wanted to answer you or not. I don't think you should let their dog out anymore if they have other people to do that and have a whole family in the house who can clearly actually do it. Make sure you tell your parents what had happened and what's going on before your aunt tries to lie her way to your parents and they end up forcing you to let the dog out. My dad tries to excuse not paying for a movie ticket. This happened like a year ago, but I just thought of it. On July of last year, me, my brother, my dad, entitled father, and my EF's friend, EFF, and her 2 babies drove to the movies to watch Minions: The Rise of Gru. After that we all, by force, by my dad, and not by choice, run into the room across from Minions playing Black Phone. He tells all of us to just find a seat. After I think a minute of being in that theater room, a theater employee, T, who judging by how he looked he couldn't be older than 16 or 17, escorts us out of the room. He tells us that me, my brother, and EF's babies aren't old enough to watch Black Phone. My dad tries to excuse it by saying that back when he was a kid, he could watch R-rated movies. TE told him this theater doesn't work like that. EF got mad and started yelling, saying nothing says that that's a rule. TE says that he agrees to the role when he buys a ticket and asks EF for his ticket. EF, trying to deflect the question, tries to keep on telling him that he doesn't need to. T, very stressed out, accidentally says something along on the lines of 4F***ck sake and EF gets mad at him for swearing in front of us, even though he snuck us into an R-rated movie. TE called the supervisor and they let us off with a warning. On the car ride back to my mom's house to drop me and my brother off, EF kept saying that he was in the right and that he couldn't believe it. Your dad is a cheat and a jerk. He was not right and he knows it. That's why he's digging in his heels and trying so hard to convince everyone that he is right. Me and my brother have refused to speak, see, or go to my dad's for more personal reasons. This is one of the most frustrating things he's done. Let's just say he's a narcissist. I mean, I've played the double feature game before, but only when I went to the theater alone, and I would have left immediately if I got busted. Next time, don't get caught. The E4 is strong in this one. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.